let's bring in Paul to give us some real world perspective on all these things. So Paul and his team at Roche have done some amazing things with data mesh. They decided in 2021 to adopt a data mesh to get rid of a traditional monolithic data warehouse. In 2022, they onboarded 40 domain teams that built 50 data products supporting 1,300 users who can access 100 terabytes of data. Wow, that's impressive, right? And they've only continued that momentum this year. They've already onboarded 28 new product teams and added 300 plus products. Wow. Okay. They've got a great self-service centralized data platform, but they do have some challenges. So, Paul, welcome to our event here, and we are so glad to have you all the way from Switzerland.
Thank you, Wayne. I'm really happy to be here. We've talked on many occasions over the past couple of years, and I at first I did not like you because I knew you were a doubter. Yeah, I was like, "What's this guy talking about?" Yeah, and then we started talking, and really, I think it's good to talk to doubters at the start because you kind of get a different perspective, and especially when nobody really has implemented it. When we first talked a couple of years ago, nobody really had implemented data mesh at scale. And this was I mean, think that this is the problem actually. When people, even now, there is no real handbook that says this is how you implement data mesh. And I think this is, it is a concept. It was essentially, this is how we think it should be done. And what happens is, and you'll find this in many of your companies, is people interpret it the way they want to interpret it. Yeah, and they build the solutions the way that they think it should be built, and not the way that it maybe works essentially in a pure data
Right.
mesh way.
Right.
So, but you know, we're all learning, um, and we don't expect to get it right first time because there is no blueprint that says this is how you do it, and it's different for every company, and it works differently from for a big international, global company as it does differently for a smaller type of medium-sized company, and it really is depends a lot on your culture that exists in the company at the moment that you start, your maturity in terms of data culture. How do people think about data? And it really is now, like, at the start I'm thinking, well, yeah, socio technical as Jamak describes, but I'm now thinking 90% social and 10% technical. Yeah, we really have sorted the technical, but all our problems are now still on the social side.
Well, we've got we could talk for hours and hours, but we only have like 10 minutes or less. So maybe we could boil this down for our audience here and talk about the keys to success and the key challenges you face. So, of all the things that you've done, what would be the keys to making this work? You've obviously been extremely successful and empowered
Mhm.
these lots of business domains and product teams. 70 almost. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Who are these teams and where, and
yeah.
how's this all working?
So you got to remember Roche is a huge company, yeah, but a very distributed company by nature, a very decentralized company when it comes to data and analytics, and in fact, central IT, uh, probably before we started 2 years ago, really only supported probably about 20% of the whole company. Yeah,
Mm.
and when you think about that, you have these, you know, we have a lot of research and development, early research and early development companies in Roche. They're like, well, IT doesn't understand our business, so we have our own IT department. And then, Roche buys a company every year. They have their own IT department, and they, and essentially central IT only serve 20% of that. So when you think about that, you know, it is probably quite different to many other,
Yeah.
companies. And you have to make your analytics work on that. and that's why centralization was not working for us, because we could only really centralize 20% of the company. Yep. So what's the point? Yeah. Let's find a methodology and a way and a framework that really works to offer this domain driven, company driven ownership. And that is the key. And you're right what you said. In fact, what you said is you didn't think the purists would agree on a central data platform. But I've spoken personally to Jamak many times about this, and she does agree that a central data platform with built-in automation, built-in policy control, built-in as much as you can build into a service, a self-service platform, then that is the key, because people don't want to worry about thinking about platforms for every single domain, or in Rosh's case, you had a platform for every use case nearly, yeah. And you want people to come along and just use it as a service, self-service, and they love it. And that was the key, really, is is offering this capability to the business to want to use it. Yep, we're not. IT have tried to force business to use their platforms for years, and this doesn't happen anymore. Business do not need IT to be successful. Yeah, but if they want to use you and they see the value, then of course they will. And that comes with it, a lot of understanding, a lot of work to make a platform as self-service as you can. Is ultimately you want your data platform to work like your iPhone. Yeah. You jump on, you can do something, yeah, pretty
Yeah.
intuitively without too much effort at all. Yeah. And that's what we're striving for. Clearly, we're a long way off an iPhone, but you know, I mean, that is the goal. We do not want a support function for the platform. We do not want a ticketing system. Yeah, we want these domains to be able to serve themselves and create their own support platform for their own products. Yep, as you rightly said. So that certainly is a big factor in it. But that's the technical factor only. The social factor comes with ownership and domain ownership. And you need to find the right people within the business that believe in this as much as you do from a tech perspective. And these people are not, they're quite difficult to find. But once you get one or two, people to partner with you and have the buy-in, and then other people look at them and find and look at the success that they're having and how quickly they can produce data products and how quickly they can generate savings, and then they want to play. Yeah, they want to come on board. So that's how you get the ball rolling. Get some really key business leaders that want to jump on, work with them, promote the hell out of the success. Yep. And other business leaders will come.
Yeah. So this is a great cultural fit for Roche, for one, right?
Mm.
And then you got at it and ahead of it by building this self-service data platform. And so I assume you would agree with at least partly what I said in the keynote, which was that you've got to centralize the data mesh, at least the self-service data platform, to be successful.
Yeah.
So, at this point, you've had a lot of success. What are the key challenges you're facing now? I've got some right here listed: data governance, data provisioning, product mindset. I'm curious what you think of the provisioning side of things.
We could talk all day about challenges in governance. I mean, that is you should do a whole session on federated governance, and I'll be happy to come in and talk to you about that. But so yes, governance comes at a lot of challenges. Really finding the right governance balance, I think, is the key. Federating governance comes with a bit of federating trust as well, and I think you need to find that within your company, how far you federate that. And we've had those challenges over the last couple of years, and now we're seeing, yes, we've got lots of data products, but if you don't have the right mix of governance, then the data quality starts to drop, because you know, a lot of teams are not used to defining their own policies and building them within the design stage. You know, they're used to kind of the afterthought. Oh, someone needs access to my data. Shit, I'm going to create a new role and then give them access, and then you end up with 100 people with 1,000 different roles for one data product. So it's these challenges that do come because the skill set and the mindset is not as mature, you know, in the company in some areas. Yeah, some areas we have that maturity built up, but other areas not. And we were talking to a team the other day, published 250 data products or whatever in commercial domain, and people are starting to use them, and then they're surprised that people are using them and then complaining because they've got duplicates in their data because their data is not as what the source is telling them, and this and that, and that you talked about the difference between a data asset and a data product. For me, it's the product thinking, the mindset of a team that is building a product that they're putting out there, as you said, very transparent. We're putting it out there for people to reuse and people to trust. And that whole mindset is the difference for me, is the product thinking mindset. You know, that is really the key. If you don't have that within the domain teams, within the data product teams, we're back to square one. I think
Yeah.
people lose trust on the data products. So what do? They don't use their data products. They just create a silo by bringing in their own data products. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and the beat goes on. So what about data provisioning? Do you have a central data store or not? How do people
Yeah.
find these products? All these
Yeah, we
things.
built our own. Like you said, there wasn't a lot of choice on the market for internal data stores, and some of the companies are trying to move into that space, but without naming any of them, it's a poor effort, if you ask me. Yep. It's just kind of a bolt-on effort and not really thinking about the internal user and what it means. Yeah. Um, there is definitely, as you said, space for in the market for a really good internal marketplace. We built our own. Decided to go that route, although we're reviewing that right now, because what you end up clearly is with a team of 50 developers maintaining an internal marketplace, and you still have that whole backlog issue.
Yeah,
It's quite slow for changes and this and that. So we're really looking for a vendor now to help us accelerate this option, because we're moving past the need just for keyword content searches. We really want really efficient search capabilities even within the product itself. So not only searching on keywords and descriptions, but searching on data. Yeah. I've got this material number. What other products can I use, that might enhance our product that has the same material number, for example? And this is where we're really moving to now. So talk to me in 6 months next year. We may have a different solution.
oh, great.